These are good?
Yeah.
Did you try them yet?
Well, I tell you what I like about them, because a lot of baked beans are wet. I don't like wet food. This is just right.
It says it's the best baked beans. All right, good morning. It's Monday, June 20th. It's about 7:25. I'm going to be leaving in a few minutes for the first day of this culturally responsive teaching conference. I am sharing a room. I'll show you the hotel room when it's cleaned up. But I am sharing a room with someone that I just met yesterday, but she works at the same school as Liza, so we have that in common. We got here yesterday. My flight flew out at 6:30 in the morning, so I was up pretty early. We got here, I don't know, like after 9, but we couldn't check into our hotel until like 3-ish. So we were just kind of walking around Santa Fe. So I'm really just here to say good morning. Nothing much has happened, and I'll check in with you a little bit later. All right, it is now about 4:15, same day. First and foremost, if I ended this morning's clip abruptly, I apologize. It's just because I realized I needed to get my things and head out because we were walking to the facility together as a group. But day one overall I think went well. It was focused on it's titled Foundational Review. So here's a nice quick succinct way to tell you what we did. So we talked about what CLR is, culturally and linguistic responsive teaching, if you don't know what those letters stand for. We talked about who does it benefit, what are some blockers, like what are some things that might prevent you from engaging in this type of teaching. Talked about what is culture, what is CLR and race, the rings of culture, and cultural behaviors. And again, this is all work from Dr. Shiraki Holly. None of this is mine to share. But just really quickly, there was a lot of ice breaking and standing up and talking to people in the room or talking to people near you. But I think one of the more interesting things for you guys to see, well, first, one of my favorite parts is watching this video. This guy talked about different attention signals, and I'm sure we've all heard of attention signals before, but he had some really fun ones in there that I hadn't heard of before. And he just reiterated and reminded me that these are important in kind of keeping the class going and keeping the class engaging, and that I need to be better about being more consistent, because I feel like there's certain points in the year where I'm really on it with my attention getters, and then there's times in the year where I'm just tired and desperate and I don't even try. So I want to make sure that I do better with that. And one of the points that he made that I hadn't really thought of, and I don't think I've ever done, is just making sure that you keep your attention getters like fresh, like coming up with new ones. You don't have to use the same ones all year, because there does come a point in the year where if you're using the same attention getters, those become like exhausting, and the kids don't really respond to them the same way as they did at the beginning of the year. So that was one of my favorite things. That is something that we hadn't talked about before in my previous trainings that we've done. And then we did this activity where we had to kind of, with the partner, talk about a group of students that's not having success or being underserved. Then the next question was, among those underserved, are all of those students not being successful? And then you had to specifically address why that wouldn't be the case. Like, some are still being successful and some aren't. And then from that group, same question, among those, are all of those not being successful? And then be more specific in terms of differentiating the ones that are still experiencing success even though they're being underserved, and those that aren't, and then breaking that down even further. And at this point, you should be getting close to the point where you can actually make a list of specific students and be able to really pinpoint on what it is that's causing them not to be successful. So I thought that that was really helpful in terms of taking those questions and using those questions when we are asked to look at things like iReady data, putting kids in groups, so that we're not just putting them in groups and then not really honing in on why they are grouped the way that they are. But I'm trying to see if I can find the graphic that talks about the rings of culture, in case you haven't heard of that before. And I'm not seeing it. I know there was a graph. Okay, so here it is. So rings of culture, based on these trainings, involve your orientation. I'll look at it this way, it's easier. Orientation, your ethnicity, your national identity, class, like socioeconomic class, gender, religion, and age, and that you can see these things all intersect to form a whole person. So we talked about that and how we identify in terms of our rings of culture and what are our dominant rings, like what are the ones that seem to drive and motivate us the most. So that was kind of how we ended the day. But we also talked about what is race, what is culture, differentiated between those two things. And we talked about surface and deep culture, and talking about how we need to move past this surface level look at culture. We're talking about food and language and music and things like that, and really start working on understanding the deeper parts of culture that are hidden. And so this graphic is to show you that this is a part of people's culture that is kind of hidden in a lot of situations where you don't really see these things because they're not visible or tangible like these things are. And I think, you know, that pretty much sums up what we did today. I thought it went well. I think one of the things that went well for it is the person or the persons that were leading this. They were two women, and they were it was two white women, which I think, in all honesty, helps with these kinds of trainings, because a lot of times, just based on the demographics of teachers, it makes the information more accessible or more palatable to some people, as opposed to having a woman of color up there, a man of color. And I'm not saying that that's right, but I'm just saying that that's the reality. But they were very personable as well. So I've had trainings like this where the presenter is a white male or female, but they're coming at it from such an academic sense that I think some of the people in the room that might be already uncomfortable feel even more uncomfortable, because the level at which they're speaking or the way that they're presenting the information is not as down to earth as the way it was presented today. So, and we had lunch. Lunch was provided, Panera, and we had a surprise cookie in there. So that was the day. I don't think I'm gonna go because I don't have time. I was gonna go to Starbucks. There's one nearby, and we get comp money for meals, $65 a day. And I'm like, well, hey, I can get a Starbucks for free, but I don't have time. Right now I'm just doing some work that I need to take care of, and I am watching Judge Judy, and then we're supposed to go to dinner as a group at 5:30. But while I have you here, I'm gonna go ahead and do like a little quick room tour, if you're interested. So I'm sharing the room with one other person. Like I said yesterday, I just met her yesterday, but she's very pleasant. Let me see if I can get some lights on. There's a light here. Oh, here we go. So we're in New Mexico, so everything is very Southwest based. So this is the front of the hotel. This is what you see when you walk in. So we were pleasantly surprised. And then over here is the bathroom. It's a nice, spacious bathroom. That's just so stuff up there. Nice big shower. The only gripes that I had about the shower is that it doesn't have a closing door. And I prefer to have a closing door so that my shower is nice and hot. And then we have these two different types of shower heads. Last night when I took a shower, I couldn't figure out how to make the water come out of that shower head instead of this one. But my roommate figured that out this morning, and that crisis has now been solved. So that is the bathroom. And then there's just a little closet area here. I have my clothes hanging for tomorrow so that the little wrinkles from being packed can fall out. Then there's a little desk area, phone, coffee pot. There's a little refrigerator down in there. And then we have the beds, just two beds, a little table, a TV. And the thing I was most excited about is that we have this cute little working fireplace. So I had that on last night while I was laying in bed, doing some work, watching Golden Girls. It was a whole great time. And then we have this little balcony-like area. Did I lock it? That at first I thought was just this, but when you walk out and you go around, you actually have like a little sitting area there that I feel like I should take advantage of at some point. So that is our hotel room. So I'm gonna do some work before dinner, and I will be sure, I won't say that I can't be sure because I never know how the days are gonna go. Well, I will be sure to try and check in with you tomorrow at some point. So, there's my light. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's Tuesday morning. It's about 7:30. I'm walking all by myself. I'm on my way to Starbucks, so we have to be there at 8. I'm just really proud of myself for making it here all on my own. But this is like a little plaza section of New Mexico early in the morning. So.
Inappropriate language, right? Rather than to go to the building bridge and tell them that it's inappropriate and they shouldn't use that language in the situation, how about trying to validate and affirm the why or what they were saying, right? Now, let me preface what I'm saying by saying, we don't VAB in any way disparaging language, violence, profanity. There is no validation affirmation for that. It's not cultural, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. So it's very important that you recognize situations that are just simply need to be redirected. Period, point blank. There is nothing to validate and affirm, build and bridge there. It's just the redirection. Someone's in a dangerous situation, you don't have time to reactively VAB. You got to save the day, right? So you just jump to that. But when those opportunities arise for that teachable moment for you to validate, affirm, build, and bridge, I want you to take advantage of that, even if it's here over the summer, right? With your own children, maybe, your own friends, peer groups. Just practice it, because it's going to take practice for you to be able to do this in your classroom, okay? Proactive vabbing is easier. It's not easy, but it's easier, because this is you saying, okay, I have these cultural behaviors happening in my classroom. I have the spontaneity. I have the kinesthetics when I don't want the kinesthetic necessarily, right? I have the talk. Maybe it's not right on topic, but I have the talk. So you can proactively, you can plan to validate and affirm those cultural behaviors by putting activities into your lesson that will give students an opportunity to be spontaneous, that will give them opportunity to have discussion, that will give them opportunities to move. Kind of like the activities you've been doing today, okay? These were all proactively planned. Proactively that, okay? All right. Oh, we're moving. All right, so we're about to move into situational appropriateness and cultural dexterity. Jennifer kind of told you we're going to get into that this afternoon. You guys have already been sort of tipping your hat to all of these things, so I want to just applaud you for that. You're kind of thinking, you're on top of it. You know, you make it easier for us to go where we're going because you're already thinking.
Okay, it is now Tuesday. Well, you already know that because you saw me walking to Starbucks this morning, and I probably said that already, but it is 5:06 on Tuesday. Nonetheless, I'm back in my hotel room. I've probably been here for close to an hour, maybe a little less. And my roommate just left. She's walking about town with some other people from my district. I just don't have the energy. I'm telling you, by the time these are over, like, I'm just so tired. And I feel like I've been socializing to some degree all day, and so it's nice to kind of have just a little bit of alone time, so I'm staying back. We don't have any dinner plans tonight. Last night we went out to dinner as a group. I think everyone's kind of tired, so I feel like dinner's gonna be on our own. And so more than likely I will be door dashing something here and using my food allowance that way. So just really quickly, today was day 2 of this training. And on the agenda for today, as we talked about the cultural behavior continuum. So at this point in the training, we were talking about things like, we had to put ourselves on a continuum with things like, how direct are you in your speech? Do you speak more directly or do you speak more passively? And then we talked about why and perceptions of people on both sides. Then we looked into cultural behaviors. So things like concept of time, proximity, eye contact, things like that, and just talked about how different cultures value those things in different ways and how that may manifest itself in your classroom with your students. Then we talked about what Dr. Shiraki Hawley calls vabbing, which is validating and affirming students, and practice. What does it look like to validate students and their experiences and their behaviors, as well as affirming them, and how to do that with like the words we use, the way we respond to some of the things that they're doing, really just avoiding like what he refers to as deficit language or like negative talk. And I would say, and then the last thing we did is talked about like situational appropriateness and cultural dexterity, which basically means like you can kind of be in different environments and be able to properly adapt to the environment that you are in without necessarily giving up or being fake or being someone that you're not, but just understanding that the situation that you're in or the location that you're in may require certain behaviors. And I have to say, throughout all these different agenda points, like we've had really good conversations today. I think it's really a good combination of people in the room. We're coming from all different parts. Like obviously I'm from Southern California. There's people there that are from like Iowa. Some people are from New Mexico. And I feel like there's another state that's like represented in the room, and I'm just not thinking about it or realizing it right now. I think Washington State was there. So we're coming from different places, and some people work in rural areas and some of us don't. But I think the combination of people in the room, like there's a good level of respect and trust there, so that we're having these really good and open conversations. So I have nothing but positive things to say. But by the time the day is over with that kind of conversation, and we've been there from 8 to 4, like everyone's pretty tired. So again, good day. Tomorrow is the last day. We fly out tomorrow. I don't have the agenda for tomorrow, and I don't really know what checking in is going to look like tomorrow, or if I will be able to check in, because when the training is over, we basically need to come back here, check out of the hotel, take an Uber back to the airport, and then fly home. And I don't think I get home till after 9:30 at night on Wednesday. So good stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything like concrete I can give you. I think not. I can't, like really in a clip, just really basically understanding that kids are coming to your classroom with different cultural values and different experiences, and that you need to learn how to maximize those values and experiences instead of trying to minimize them or shut them down, and realizing that your classroom is not really all about you, but it's more so about the kids, and that we need to be working towards serving the kids and getting the best out of them that we can. And that really can happen the more you spend time like validating and affirming them. And by doing that, that doesn't mean that you're letting them get away with just anything. It just means that you recognize who they are as individuals, and you use who they are to maximize their potential. So that's what it is. I'm probably getting ready to take a shower right now and just relax. So anyway, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow, quite possibly Thursday, but I'll try and take some clips either way. Hello, it is Thursday, not Friday. I thought it was Friday. It's Thursday, June 23rd. I am home from the conference in Santa Fe. As I thought, I didn't have a moment to pick up the camera at all, because we had our session that started at 8 a.m. yesterday morning, and then right after the session, we had to come back, get all checked out of the hotel, and head to the airport to catch our flight. I will say the airport in Santa Fe, it is literally the smallest airport I have ever seen. I think they might have 2 terminals, but when I say small, it was really small. Like there were 20 of us from the district, and we took up a large space of the airport with just us as a group. But our flights went smoothly. We flew home. We flew from Santa Fe to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix to where we live. And then I got home at like after 10, ate a little something, and then I had to unpack and change the sheets on my bed, because my parents were staying here and watching the dog, and just kind of get myself situated. And by the time I got in the bed, I was exhausted. I did not have it in me to share any of the takeaways from yesterday. I did a quick Insta story, and that was about it. But yeah, so it's Thursday. I went to Orange Theory at 8:45, and that was over at 9:45. And then I came back home, washed my face, and I just finished up with a Zoom call that I needed to take. And here we are. So let's talk about the takeaways from the last day of the conference yesterday. So yesterday we really spent a lot of time talking about attention getters, like the things that you do to get your class's attention, like saying class, class, or ringing the doorbell, or whatever chant you may have. And the big takeaway for me yesterday is that I need to use those more purposefully. So in this training, they were talking about the different times of day that you would use it, the different functions, and the 3 categories were, I think, to get attention, for transitions, and to end lessons. Now I realized that I primarily am only using callbacks to get their attention or for them to be quiet. I can't really say that with any kind of consistency I'm using them to transition them from one thing to the other, or to wrap up a lesson. And so I need to be more purposeful with that. And also just the importance of movement in class, and like how frequently kids of different age groups should be able to move. And I think for the age group I teach, you want them to be able to move like 1 to 2 times per hour. And I don't know that that has been happening in my class. So that is something that I want to work on for sure. And then a good portion of the day we had time to lesson plan with either people that teach the same age group we do, or with our district. And then there was a lot of like team building activities that we did as well. So and then it was over. But all in all, it was a great conference. And again, I don't even know if I should call it conference, because they refer to it as a Summer Learning Institute, and this is put on by Dr. Shiraki Holly, who's based out of Southern California. He's come and speak to some of the schools in my district, and that's how we got the opportunity to go to this conference. And the whole focus is on just really maximizing the different cultural backgrounds that students are coming in with, and understanding them, and using what you know about the differences and need that each student have to quote unquote bridge them to like school culture, because that's where they're at most of the day. So that is a very vague and brief explanation, but all that to say, it was good. We had some very good conversations, some productively uncomfortable conversations. There were people from different parts of the country. Some people were from New Mexico originally. There were some teachers from Iowa. There were some teachers, I think, from rural Washington State. So we were from different places, and we just had some good exchanges, and I met some really nice people along the way. So that is done. Now my mind has to prepare for middle school. I mean, not middle school, summer school, but I'm pretty planned there. But I want to take some of the things that I learned from this conference and incorporate it there. And then as far as today, I have a whole, let's go look at it. Let me get my house shoe on. I have a whole ton of laundry to do because I normally do my laundry once a week, and I didn't do any laundry last week. And so I have a bunch of laundry just sitting in here to do. Like, all of that is laundry that needs to be done. And I need to clean my suitcase, my away suitcase. I think I have a Mr. Clean magic eraser. That's what I do to refresh the suitcase when it gets back, because it's white and it gets like scuffed up a little bit in travel. And I think that's it. That is my priority for the day. So I'm getting ready to take a shower and get all of that started, because I feel like, you know, when you go to a conference, you come back and you just feel like you have so much to do. You need to like change the world with all that you've learned. That's kind of my mindset. So hello, good morning-ish, and I will check in with you later. It may not be a whole lot, because I really feel like I have a lot to do, so it may very well be much later in the day. So hi guys, it is actually Saturday, June 25th, I believe, and I'm really just here to close the vlog. I think I spoke to you guys on Thursday, and then I was supposed to check in yesterday, and I just didn't have it. Like, I was tired, but then also like the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, which I've never been pregnant. I've never been in a predicament where I had to decide whether or not I could keep a baby or not. But I know that there are people that have been, and I really think that that's just something that each individual woman should be able to decide, regardless of how she got herself pregnant, or how, I don't even want to say how she got herself pregnant, how she became pregnant, or her reasons. And I think it's just like that decision yesterday. I think I'm just emotionally taxed by living in America. Like, and then when I thought about it, I just really haven't felt a sense of stability and or peace, and even to some degree like pride living here, I would say, in the past 5 to 6 years. And I think right now, just the weight of all that is just affecting me. Like, I'm just in a very bad mental space. Mind you, I do understand that there's a certain amount of security and safety and a level of freedom that I enjoy living here that other countries don't and have never experienced. So I'm not naive to not realize that. But I think the issue is this country was founded on certain principles, and we are not and have not been living up to those principles for a very long time. And it's just getting to the point where you can't really just brush that off anymore. You can't really be not affected by it, whether it be mentally or emotionally, and I'm sure for some people physically. So I'm just like not in a good place mentally with that. And I wanted to check in yesterday because I did do something fun, luckily. I went out with Megan from Too Cool for Middle School and a couple friends / family members of hers, and we went out to see Amanda Seales. She is a comedian that is from Insecure. She's done a lot of different things. I don't want to just say she is a comedian because she does a lot. She's very outspoken about her thoughts and feelings on just what's happening in the world, and she's funny. And so we went to see her first comedy show that she had done in a couple of years. And even when she came out, she was like, guys, I don't even feel like doing this tonight, because she was also bothered, to say the least, by yesterday. So I'm just at a point where I'm like, 4th of July, what? Like, I can't even imagine myself celebrating it, because I'm just that disappointed and frustrated by the significant decisions this country has been making as a whole. And just the hypocrisy of a lot of it. We have people out here agitated, upset, at their wits' end because they were asked to wear a mask. And in that situation, they want to talk about their individual freedoms, and they have the right to not wear a mask, even though not wearing a mask could put someone else's health at risk. But those very same people feel like they have the authority to tell somebody else what to do with their whole body. So yeah, I'm just here to close the vlog. I don't really have anything else to say. I'm in such a mood, I can't even describe it. I'm about to get on this Peloton and hope that that alleviates some of it, but we'll see. So I'm gonna do that. I have some things I need to work on, and that's probably causing some anxiety too, but I know that that's not the main reason why I feel the way that I do. And I am going to a former student's delayed sweet 16. I think it's technically a sweet 16 and a half, because when she turned 16, you know, we were social distancing and so in the thick of it with COVID, so that'll be nice. So yeah, just here to say hello and goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this week's vlog and kind of getting a glimpse of some of my training and me sharing a little bit of that. And if you did, or you're feeling the same way that I'm feeling right now, or you just want to give me some support, please do give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram and TikTok under the same name, Smarty Style. And as always, I do hope that you are well, And if you're not well, please be well. I'm going to be working on that for myself. I know that tomorrow I will probably talk to no one. I think I just need a day or two where I'm just quiet, left to my own devices. But either way, please be well. And I will be sure to see you guys in the next vlog. So, see you then.